Yes. This is Intercontinental Sports TV back on again with another video today. My name is Yemi Ilori. You're watching this program for the first time. Please subscribe to the channel called Intercontinental Sports TV. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitch. Um, Today we have a lot to get into. My guests, my co-hosts are already raring to go. First of all, we want to look at what actually we want to discuss about. Look at this. Today is the debate. Debate, who is the best manager? I'm talking about Clement Westerhoff. I'm sure you guys heard of something about. I'm sure Clemens Westerhoff. Let me quickly look at Clemens Westerhoff. Is a Dutch football manager who has worked in various football positions in African continent since 1989. I'll get back to that first. Um, Also, we have Stephen Keshi, who is also late Stephen Keshi of blessed memory. Also, we want to look at the players. We want to also look at Kanu or Okocha. Who do you go for? Who do you think will do better in terms of skills, passes, assists, goal scoring, and so on and so forth? So the debate is not going to be only me, of course. I have fantastic guests who will be coming in. Jide the Great is in the building, and Kunle Faiga as well in the building. Let me bring Jide in. So, boss, can you
Hey,
hear me? Yeah,
Father Claire.
yeah. Jide the Great.
What?
What brought about the greats?
Well, you know what the good book says. As a man thinketh, so he is. So
I like that.
if
I
if
like that. I like
if,
that.
if you think lowly of yourself, so you are. If you think you're great, you're great. So it's got nothing to do with pride or anything. So don't worry about that. Yeah,
Great.
we're all great. You know,
We all
greatness is
great.
the way. Greatness is the way I used to inspire the world. So yeah, by His grace,
Fantastic.
we're all great. Mm.
Fantastic. Let me bring Kunle as well in. Kunle is standing by, is getting ready to go. Kunle Kunle
Hey,
Faiga in
boss.
the building.
I greet you. Well,
What's going on? What's
I'm
going
good.
on?
And Sajide, I hello.
Hey,
Jide's
Kule,
an
how are you?
Jide's an Arsenal
I'm good,
fan.
thanks.
So
Uh,
The
it's
Arsenal
not
fans
easy.
are here again.
It's not easy for them. I understand. It's not
Mm.
easy, It's not
it's not
easy.
easy. It's not easy.
That Everton, I
That
understand how it
that
was on
oh
Monday
my
night.
goodness. See that goal.
It's not easy.
Ah no no
She
no no
is
no.
Is it
You know what they
recalibrated
say,
or
football, anything can happen. So, you know, it just happened that I-
it's actually funny because they were making us understand like, oh, Arsenal are back for the top four. Like,
Top
of
it
four,
course
was
the
we're
first,
back.
dream is alive.
it was first, it was first relegation battle. I remember that banter of when they were playing Norwich, where they were like 19th versus 28th, and there was this very funny music and that was just going. And now all of a sudden, Arsenal is suddenly alive for the top one. I'm like, wow, how things change so fast. But now here we go, D. Top four indeed. We'll be
Yeah.
here.
All right, guys. Let's quickly look at what we want to talk about. We have just a few minutes. 45 minutes. Then we should be done on this podcast. The debate. We have who is the best manager. Who is the best manager? We have Westerhoff and Keshi. If you look at Keshi as is a late Keshi, can I say that? Yeah.
Of course, when though
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of using the word late. Like
Mm,
he's
mm,
I don't feel one needs to emphasize. I mean, he as long as you've made your mark, it's something we'll remember. So
yeah.
I don't believe we need to emphasize that late to show that he's no more because he's whatever legacy they've left behind still
Mm,
stays on. So I don't believe in that emphasizing, oh, this person is late. As long as that person really did something that all of us remember, let's call them by their name without having to put it that, oh, he's no more. No, if he made
Uh,
his mark, then it's like he's still alive. So because it's something
Absolutely.
we remember for time. Yeah.
Absolutely. Jide, I'm going to start from you. Um, Clemens Westerhoff or Stephen Keshi? Who do you go for?
Man.
Hmm.
Again, I, I hope that we do these things again because we need to have a yardstick
Okay, okay,
um
okay,
to be able
okay.
to say, because both of them in my opinion are legends. But just for the mere fact that Westerhoff did it first, I would say Clemens Westerhoff in my opinion.
Why did you say? Why did you choose? Why
Okay,
do you go
so
for?
Clemens Westerhoff in my opinion is the most tactical manager that we ever had. And again,
Wow.
if you read the book that I was, and I'm not trying to promote the book here, don't get me wrong, but again,
Go ahead,
I have to
bro.
refer to it. The book, The Ghost Father,
The Ghost
from
Father.
the
Yes.
Rashidi Yakini, his life story. The book wasn't just about Rashidi Yakini, it was also about how Westerhoff was able to build a team, right?
Mm.
There's something on the screen. Is there a reason why something came on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, I see. So yeah, it showed how Westerhoff was able to build a team from, because he took over from Manfred Horner in 1989 to go into
Yeah.
1990.
1990. Yeah.
And I mean, Westerhoff was an extremely tactical coach that understood, not just Nigerian football, but African football in general. And that's the reason why it was very successful. He was the first coach to take Nigeria to the World Cup. He experimented with players. I mean, last week we were talking about players that we didn't even put on the list. Someone like Ruben Agbola, you know, um,
Yeah.
that most people don't really talk about him. But
Ruben
he,
Agbola. You're right.
in 1992, Ruben Agbola reminded Nigerians that, we can produce like really good right backs. People like Richard Owobokiri, people don't talk about them. There were times like Westerhoff would switch
Yeah.
tactics and people would go like, what exactly is
What?
this man doing? You know,
Yeah.
we will forget, I think it's June the 23rd, 1994, Dallas, first game against Bulgaria. He Everybody was expecting JJ Okocha to start. And Westerhoff just said, look, for this game, I'm going to do something very tactical. I'll use Samson Siasia instead. And most people didn't understand the reason why he did that. And it worked because, it was just network. The Super Eagles were just banging the goals left, right, and center because it was free flowing football. First time at the
Yeah.
World Cup, they needed to make an impression. They didn't want to slow down the game, and it worked immensely. So, it makes like really good tactical decisions, and he understood the team. He came in when the team was at its lowest, and he left when the team was at its highest, number 5 in the world. So
Hmm.
nobody has ever been able to take us to that high echelon of world football since then. So
All
just for
right.
those reasons,
Mm-hmm.
Westerhoff is the greatest coach the Super Eagles of Nigeria ever had.
Kunle, look at these people.
Uh,
Westerhoff, Keshi. Who do you go for?
well, I'm not going to actually dispute what Sajide mentioned because it was under Westerhoff, Nigeria, Nigeria put itself on the global map
Mm,
with
Hmm.
that 99, because it was within this period that we had our players based here moving to Europe,
Yeah.
starting with the likes of the Akinis, the Guavons, and all of that. And this was under a period where
mm,
Westerhoff was the coach. We was
Was.
the coach. So I can say it was under Westerhoff, Nigeria was put on the global football map, and that shouldn't be taken away. But if we're going to come back home, let's we can always say that when it comes to football, there's always international football. There's going to be that sentiment of the nation of you understand of the nationality. And
Yeah.
in as much as Westerhoff has been able to, has been able to make such a mark, um I am going to pick Stephen Keshi because number one, Stephen Keshi being a Nigerian coach.
Yeah.
Before Westerhoff and even after Westerhoff, we have seen time and time again where our local coaches were trying to, replicate what the success of Westerhoff, but there was just no attempt. We've seen where someone like Shevo Amadu has been in the Super Eagles, in out, but
Mm.
nothing. We've
But
seen where
nothing. Yeah.
we've even seen where we've had some of our, we've had people like Chief Onigbide,
Onigbinde.
we've
Yes.
you know, we've had people like him, but no, but you understand, and anyone who knows, who understands the Nigerian national team very well, is always known that there's always a lot of basketballs that happens in, yes, as in epic basketballs, epic, yeah, epic ones, I mean, real
Mm.
epic ones. So, we talk about even when we had the likes of Christian Chuku, our ex players. We've had Eguavon. Do you know the number of times Shobo Amadu has been involved in the national
Yeah.
team? Like
Amadou
people want
Shoaib
to start count. Yes, I mean, who is also late.
late.
He
Yeah.
ironically passed away. Like, was it not 2 weeks after Stephen Keshi? It
Stephen
was,
Keshi.
it was really kind of freak because I think it was Stephen Keshi first. Then 2 weeks later, it was Sheubo Amodu, and there was this conspiracy like, wow, are people coming to attack the NFF or something like that? Yeah, because it was really freak. As in, I'm looking at it right now, and Sheubo Amodu has been involved with the Super Eagles one, two, three, four, five, six times.
6 times. On and off.
Yes, on and off, but nothing. But here is a Stephen Keshi, and like I said, there's a lot of basketballs. Even when Westerhoff was there was always
Mm.
basketballs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about how you can navigate it because I mean, you need a lot of guts. You need a lot. No, I always say something that managing the Super Eagles is the toughest job in the world. I mean, after being Nigeria president, yes, I see it anywhere.
Mm.
I'm telling you, yeah, it is. It is. It is. I mean, look at how Genotro. I mean, look at how Genotro is always on the hot seat. But here is a Stephen Keshi who, despite all these basketballs, was able to equal
Mm.
what Clemens Westerhoff achieved. Well, he didn't do it in a calendar year because I'm sure, as you know, Afcon switched to odd number years
Yeah.
from 2000, and wasn't that, yeah, from 2013, which apparently was the first, which was the year we won it. And then the following year at the World Cup, we were able to reach the round of 16 against, it was a painful game against France. We could have done better, but we couldn't. You know,
Mm.
this was a Stephen Keshi that was threatened though. Like, you know, I can't count the number of times where he was actually this close to leaving. Like, even after he won the AFCON in 2013, he was this
Yeah.
close to leaving. And then one of the things that stood out with Keshi was, we had already gotten to we've from Westerhof, we had gotten to this point where we began to rely on players who were playing abroad. The demand for abroad players, even before you know it, many people didn't see the value of there was no value in playing in the country again because the local league became, should I say, worse off. But here is a Keshi who, in that 2013 World Cup, if you look at the squad that he took to South Africa, he had like six players playing in the Nigeria Professional Football League.
Mm.
Mm. Mm.
And in that final, you had a certain Sunday Umba who
Sunday
was
over.
playing
Yeah.
for, I think, who was playing for Warri Wolves at that time. There was also a Godfrey Obalbona.
Wow.
He
Yeah.
played from start to finish. He was playing for Sunshine Stars at that time. But then, of course, you know that kind of a thing. When you are with the national, when you are in such a spotlight, before you know it, an European club comes for you. So it was not long before Obalbona and Mba moved on, and some other players who were in the team at that time. So for Keshi to have gathered all of this with the toxic atmosphere of the NFF, please, kudos has to go. Kudos has to be given to him for it,
Jide, do
because
you
it's
want to
not
say
easy.
something about Stevie Keshi as well? Maybe you want to.
Yeah, I
Take
mean,
it.
look,
I mean,
somebody was saying some years ago that the current Super Eagles coach, and I don't really want to mention his name. We all know who he is. I'm not a big fan of him, to be honest.
We're not sure if he still is really,
Yeah,
because
exactly. So
but
that
we're hearing he could be the one to coach at AFCON though.
again with
As
Nigeria, you
they
never
have
know. But in my own
exactly.
opinion, he didn't achieve like 10% of what Stephen Keshi achieved, and he was kept on as
Yeah,
coach. But Stephen Keshi was sacked. I think right after the World Cup. He, in terms of achievements, at least on the world level and
yeah.
the African level, I would say Stephen Keshi is the closest to Clement Westerhoff. He took us to the AFCON in 2013. He infused some home-based players in there, and they won the trophy, and they did it in style as well. They didn't
Style. Yeah.
struggle. They did it in style. They beat all the teams. They beat Ivory Coast. A lot of people were thinking Ivory Coast was going to beat Super Eagles at that tournament, but they ended up losing with, despite the fact that they had the likes of Drogba and all. And then he took us to the World Cup. He got us to the second round, if not for some dodgy tackling by Matuidi on Nazi. I think the
Yeah.
Super Eagles, and also the offside that was given. If the VAR was there, you know, that goal would have stood. I think the goal was scored by a striker called Emenike.
MNK. Yeah.
Yeah. So it produced a good set of players. And I think once you mention Westerhoff, in my opinion, there's no other coach you can mention apart from Stephen Keshi. He wasn't respected.
What about
Um,
Bonfrey Joe? You remember? I
no,
think Bonfrey Joe came in after
no, I wouldn't
Keshi
put
left.
Humphrey Joe in the class of Stephen Keshi, with
Yeah.
all due respect.
Mm.
I mean, right now we're hearing rumors that Humphrey Joe said he wants to apply for the Super Eagles job. With all due respect,
What?
yeah, without
What?
with all due respect, I wouldn't put Humphrey Joe in the class of Stephen Keshi. I felt like Humphrey Joe was riding on the Westerhoff train, and
Atlanta
then
96.
he basically just inherited a team that Westerhoff
Emirates,
had
yeah.
built.
Yeah.
So you didn't really have to be a genius to coach the team from 1998 or 2000. And what did he do afterwards? He didn't really achieve much. I mean, it took them to the AFCON. In
Yeah.
2000, they got to the final, and that was it. It took the, and that's not the Super Eagles. That's a youth team. Let's always remember that, that the Olympics is not the real Super Eagles. So in as
Yeah.
much as I respect the class of 96, the focus should be mainly on teams that went to the World Cup or the African Nations Cup that played senior national teams. Not, you were playing the likes of Ronaldinho, they were basically playing youth teams. They only allowed you to take 3 overage players to those Olympic tournaments. So I definitely wouldn't put Bonfrey Joe in the class of Stephen Keshi. I think Stephen Keshi is a legend on his own. Very pragmatic coach, well respected as well by the players. We were talking about Vincent Nyama last year. Last week, and we know that under Stephen Keshi, he thrived a lot because Stephen Keshi always brought out the best in him as well too. So it will be sorely missed. I wish there was a way honorarily I can say he's better than Clemens Westerhoff. I would. He was a brilliant, brilliant human being. It's a shame that we lost him. At a young age, in my opinion. So
Yeah. Let's go for this as well. Today we want to look at Kanu or Okocha.
Ha.
Ra 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 ra.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's going first?
Hey.
Who wants to go for it?
Ha, this one
I
never
mean,
gets old.
Kanu or Okocha?
It never gets. Man. Um, if me, I am to, if I am to go, me, I will pick Kanu Nwakwo over JJ
Really?
Okocha. Feel free to beat me. Yes, feel free to beat me. I don't care. Feel free. But I was a, I was more of, I was someone who kind of appreciated Kanu more. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. This is no disrespect to
Really?
Okocha and all, but I feel Okocha was, there was just, I'm sorry, but I feel there was just kind of a bit so much of attention on Okocha because of his flashiness that Kanu
Mm.
was never really appreciated for the technical abilities that he had. Kanu, Okocha was more or less like a Ronaldinho. I mean, after Okocha dribbles and dribbles and dribbles, Okocha played the game like he was playing for fun. And I'm sorry, I feel this was probably one of the reasons why he didn't really have a prolonged career. Again, nothing against Okocha, but he kind of saw the game as fun. And that was why even Ronaldinho, you will find out that even after Ronaldinho left Barcelona, he really didn't hit those highs again. Like he was kind of struggling for relevance where he went to and all. And you find out that for Okocha, after Bolton Wanderers, there was really nothing. But I mean, Kanu went to West Bromwich Albion. He went to Portsmouth. He won titles and he was so freaking relevant. But Okocha, after okay, Okocha went to Qatar Stars and
Qatar,
Hull
yeah.
City, but yeah, and he went to Hull City, but we didn't really see him again. And that's where I feel the difference is. I mean, Kanu was more or less like an all-rounded player, but Okocha was just more or less for his flashiness. And that's the kind of thing you will see in someone like Neymar, which is why Neymar is not taken seriously today because Neymar has been all about that flashiness. He wants to play, and football is not just about entertainment. There is more to football than those tricks. Those yes, we're going to bring it, but there's more you should be bringing. And I felt Kanu more to the game, but Kanu wasn't appreciated, and it was only
Hmm.
sad for me that Kanu Thierry Henry actually put him in the spotlight because if put him off spotlight, because if not for Thierry Henry, Kanu would still have been a relevant first team player in at Arsenal. But but that doesn't take away what Kanu achieved. Kanu's CV is very full. We don't need to start talking about Kanu's CV at club level. But if you look at Okocha didn't really have much to brag about.
Hmm.
And when you look at the collection of clubs he played for, they were not clubs that really had name like that. I'm no disrespecting it because I know people will come for me, but when you look
Get
at
ready.
when you look at Kanu's clubs now, respect now. Respect.
All right,
So for
Jide.
me, I
Jide,
will
what, what
pick
what do you
Kanu
think?
over
I
Okocha.
mean, if you're talking about individual brilliance, I personally feel like JJ Okocha stands it's way is miles of Kanu. Individual brilliance. And I think that's what Kunle was alluding to. Um, Also in terms of achievement, um, you have to think about JJ Okocha was one time African Footballer of the Year as well. So
JJ or
yeah,
Kanu? Or you
Yeah,
mean
I
Kanu?
believe.
JJ Okocha never won. No, he did not. That was the
No.
BBC
So
African football.
no. So it wasn't. I didn't. Sorry, I meant to say at one time it was the most expensive player in Africa.
Afri.
You know.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okocha, you mean?
yeah,
Oh, okay,
Okocha. I
okay,
mean, yeah.
okay.
So JJ never won the African Footballer of the Year, but in 1998 it was the runner-up. So I don't think that's too bad. When in terms of turning up for the national team,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um, JJ Okocha definitely turned up more than Kanu did. Again, I can start to count games when JJ turned up for the national team. Um, at least on an African level, nobody will forget Nigeria versus Cameroon in 2004, and in 2000, he scored like very vital goals. He lifted the team in 2002 as well, when Kanu was nowhere to be found at the World Cup in Japan and Korea 2000. He was involved. He was the captain of the team for a long spell, and very well respected. Again, what I think one of the reasons why I think people don't respect JJ Okocha as much is the fact that his choice of clubs. I mean,
Yeah.
they were a bit suspect, but when he went to those places, he performed well. I mean, again, let's remember this guy had an 18-year span career, and injuries were not his best friends. He
Yes.
always got injured, and that's the reason why, in my opinion, he retired kind of early. Because his career spanned 18 years. He started in 1990. He went to Germany. He used to play for a team called Borussia Neuenkirchen,
Mm-mm.
right? And then from there, he moved to Eintracht Frankfurt, and that's when we heard about him. And then he joined the under 20s in Mauritius 93. They didn't qualify for the World Cup in Australia in 1993. They got defeated by Ghana, and that's when his talent started to show. And Westerhof, being a smart guy, he invited him to the national team. And I remember the first game he played for Nigeria was against Algeria in
Yeah.
I think it's 1993. And he just came in and blew everyone away. He scored a fantastic free kick. He set up Rashidi Yakini for the third goal or the
Third
fourth goal.
goal.
Yeah, and he just basically bossed on the scene. And from under 20, he went straight to the national team. And it was something Kanu couldn't do. Kanu couldn't break from the under 17. He had to go abroad first and prove himself. And JJ Okocha is well respected in a lot of circles. The kind of caliber of players he played with. I mean, with all due respect, when Kanu was playing in Inter Milan, it was almost, I mean, people didn't see him on the same level as the likes of Ronaldo, who was also playing
Yeah.
for Inter Milan then.
Inter Milan.
And Ajax, he was still trying to build himself. He only scored 25 goals for them in 54 appearances. In Inter Milan, he was a shadow of himself. We all know what happened at Inter Milan. Bless him, he had a heart problem and he was able to overcome it. And then 1999 to 2004, he went to Arsenal, and that's when I think he began to shine more. Because he showed himself there. But at the same time, I feel that JJ Okocha in France, this kind of same regional time, between 1998 and 2002, he was showing what he could do as well in League One, and no surprises that Bolton Wanderers decided to buy him. And then they moved him over, and but his season was always hampered by injuries. But up to today, I mean, last month he was still at a testimonial match at the Bolton Wanderers Stadium. He's very well respected in those circles. So when I look at it overall, forget the individual laurels and who he played for. If I look at them man for man, player for player, I feel that JJ Okocha executed more confidence than Kanu. In my opinion, Kanu at times was quite little. Don't get me wrong. No disrespect to Kanu Wako here, because he's a fantastic player. But when you're looking for a player that can switch, like
Yeah.
if we were down like 2-0 as an, I mean, Cameroon, Nigeria, 2000 and 2000
2002.
National Stadium, right? At the African Nations Cup, with the Ghana, Nigeria 2000, right?
Yeah.
We know what happened.
We're 2-0 down.
2-0 down. And JJ Okocha just basically, you know what they used to call him when he was in the squad? Egmo.
Egbon.
Yeah. Because it was you know, now they're calling Kelechi Iheanacho senior man. I'm like,
Senior man.
respect. Do you know the reason why they used to call JJ Okocha Egmo? Because could be a free kick. People forgot all those things that he did. We always concentrate on the fact that he held onto the ball too much, and that sometimes the end product wasn't there. But the things that he did, the passes, I mean, typical example, right? France 98.
Yeah.
Okay. He threw a superb pass to Kanu, right? Against Denmark. And Kanu just basically just flaunted the chance in front of goal. That would have been I mean, JJ was in those areas, you know, it was very productive, but sometimes the finishing product wasn't there for some of these players. You know, he threw a wonderful pass to, because in my opinion, Kanu was a flop at France 98. And you know, on the world stage, I felt like after Atlanta 96, you know, Kanu had the opportunity to go to how many World Cups? He went to 98, he went to 2002, and then he went to 2010. And he didn't really, I'm not even sure whether Kanu scored a World Cup goal. I mean, fair enough, JJ didn't score a World Cup goal as well. But for someone you call a striker, you'd expected him to score. Especially, I can't forget that chance that he flaunted against Denmark in 1998.
Denmark.
Yeah. It was a super pass by JJ Okocha, but there was no one at the end of it, because once Daniel Amokachi got injured in France 98,
that was it.
The problem we had was where the goals were going to come from. And come at the man, come at the hour. We needed Kanu to show up for us in France 98. He didn't. So when I put in all these things together, I just think JJ Okocha was a better player than him.
Wow. Kole?
Yes, boss.
You know, didn't really explain the details, as in the way JJ. I mean, I'm gonna give it to, for me, I'm gonna go for JJ Okocha. I mean, I don't know. It's just a fantastic. Even if Nigeria is not playing well, once I watch, is Okocha still there? He will still pull out some surprises, like, what the hell is this guy doing? Like, well,
yes, like he had a lot. JJ had a lot up his sleeves, no doubt. Like, he was just that, that's why I said, like Ronaldinho, he was fun to watch, because he, like I said, he saw the game more of like entertainment. So
you're smiling.
He was always going to play. But there was just something amazing about Kanu Wako that I feel like, for that he's very tall stature. Yes, quite all right. Kanu sometimes didn't always turn up, and sometimes he always felt like he was lazy and all, would fluff his lines and everything. But Kanu on his day. Kanu on his day. I mean, can't you remember that? Can you remember that game against Chelsea? Where Arsenal were 2-0 down.
2-0, yeah, I think 2-0 down.
Kanu's technique is out of this world. Like, the way he finishes his goals.
I think Kanu played with Wilson Uruma or something at that.
So in Japan 93, Kanu burst on the scene, and they were both colleagues,
outstanding players.
Yeah, those were outstanding players. It's a shame that Wilson Uruma was not able to prove himself, for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I felt that that's another player that would have perhaps deputized for JJ Okocha in many areas, because I was an extremely talented player as well. But
Uruma,
that just shows you how good JJ Okocha was. There was no. I mean, if he wasn't playing, you had to ask yourself, like, okay, let me ask you, right? when Kanu wasn't
Mm.
playing, people would go like, "Oh well, okay, yeah, Kanu Aqua is not there. You know, we can get." But JJ Okocha was irreplaceable in my opinion. I mean, I remember when JJ,
Well,
yeah, it was irreplaceable. I think during that
well,
period, it was
well,
very
for
irreplaceable.
well, for someone who is for someone who is um for someone who is an entertainer, for someone who has that kind of flashiness, I mean, I think I clearly understand that because this is someone like we said that even when he's not playing at his best, he will still want to do one or two tricks that will make people, and
Those
fans are
ah
always fans are always thrilled by
that's
dribbles,
those skills. Ah
by
man.
those kind of, it will always, you understand. So I think I can clearly understand that he will be in the, because I mean, come on, we're talking about skills. Like, skills will always thrill fans no matter what. No, that's the same thing too with Ronaldinho now. Like, I mean, the tons
Hmm.
of skills that Ronaldinho did, come on, like, but then, like I said, the aftermath. Well, yes, maybe these things were not his friends and all, but then Kanu, despite his, well, I think you could say, well, I agree with you on the fact that maybe for the national team, maybe Okocha was more of a was more of an influence. But when you talk about Nigerians abroad and Nigerians
Mm-hmm.
who were playing in club football, I mean, Kanu's
Kanu.
influence.
Kanu influence on that.
I think Kanu's influence was massive because, like I said,
Massive.
before Thierry Henry got to Arsenal, Kanu was massive. Even when he left, Kanu moved to, was it Portsmouth, or did he move to was it West Bromwich Albion? And he was equally massive. I don't know if you remember where, if you've watched one video where Harry Regnapp was talking about how Kanu was signed, and
Hmm.
when I don't know if you've seen that video, Chief Jide,
Yeah, I
he
saw snippets of it. Yeah.
where he was saying something about like, this is a fucking, where it was like, this is a, sorry to use the F word, but it was like saying that, are you kidding me? Where he saw him train, that this is a 54-year-old. How can you tell me that this is a, this is a, that this is a 30-something-year-old guy?
Yeah.
That, where on earth does that happen? It goes to show you, and that goes to show you that Kanu still had something. You
Yeah.
understand? He had something, and that goes to show the respect he had. And please, and let's not forget, he was two-time African Footballer of the Year. That is not.
Yeah.
That is not. Yes, we can say that. Yes, Okocha should have won it. It's always part of the debate, but I think we have to put our respects in that part. That two-time African footballer, and I don't think there's anybody who has won more for Nigeria. I mean, to win the African Footballer of the Year, no be beans, oh. And so for
Mm-hmm.
someone to have won it twice, I think that really says a lot. So when it comes to club food,
Which year? Which year was that? Two times. Kanu.
96,
Night
96, and 1999.
96, 99. Ah, and Okocha never. Oh my God, my
I mean,
days.
Okocha was just quite unlucky in terms of it was a runner up
Yeah.
in I believe
Who won
90.
I
it? I
feel
think Eto won it instead of was it Eto?
No, it was
no.
so in 1998 it was Mustafa Aji that won it
Mustafa
instead of,
Haji.
and then it was third place in 2003 and 2004. And to be honest, those years were very, very tight, because uh, a lot of people felt like he could have won it those years. But
Yes, I agree.
yeah,
But then you
because
have to look
and
at the,
the BBC actually nominated him for those years as the African Footballer of the Year. So you
Hmm.
know, but it
BBC
was
African
clinched by
Footballer of the Year.
Drogba and Samueleto. So yeah,
BBC
so
African Footballer
2003
of the
and
Year was like Ballon
2004.
d'Or.
Yeah, yeah.
BBC
So
African Footballer of the Year was like Ballon d'Or of those years.
mhm.
It wasn't the in thing. What I feel is that, I think, like we said, like Okocha's inability to play for like reputable clubs kind of counted against him. I mean,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
if let us say Okocha was playing for Bayern Munich, for instance,
Oh my
there is no
goodness.
way in the world.
Oh
Yes, there is
well.
no way in the world. There is no way in the world he will not. I mean, come on. He'd probably have like three, believe me, if not four
Mm,
or more. Trust me, yeah. So I just
Hmm.
feel that, I mean, because, and let's not forget, he really made his mark in Bolton Wanderers. I'm not saying he didn't make his mark in PSG, but because Bolton Wanderers, that was the Premier League. They were the center of attention and all. But by that time, he was already at the climax of his career at that point. So, those years when he was really hot in those 1990s, his clubs, PSG was not the hottest club in France then. So I
France
mean,
then, yeah.
yes, they were not. So,
mm,
I feel those things count. I feel it counted against him. Compared to where you had the likes of Taribo playing for and I mean you had the Sunday Olise who
Sunday
was at
Lisse.
Juventus. You had the Sunday Olise who was at Juventus, Borussia Dortmund. I mean, then don't not forgetting Ajax. I mean,
Ajax. Ah,
Ajax was a big, yeah.
was it?
Ajax was a
Yeah.
happening team then in those 19 years. So imagine if Okocha was there, but sadly he didn't find himself there. So I feel if he did, I think he would have had a better shot at winning the African Footballer of the Year and even bigger awards, and he would have gotten more recognition beyond the skills we knew him for.
mm.
All right.
Mm.
Guys, we let's round off. I mean, before we Jide, you want to say something before we call it a day till
I
Monday?
mean,
Or what do you
I
think?
stand by my I really stand by my choices today. I feel like JJ Okocha, in my opinion, on an individual basis,
Yeah.
not what he achieved for as a team player, just
Okay.
as a if you're comparing them player to player, it was way ahead of JJ. Sorry, way ahead of Kanu and Clemens Westerhoff, just by the sheer fact that he was the first coach to take Nigeria to
Mm-hmm.
the World Cup. He was the first coach to win the African Nations Cup after 1980. Um,
After
the t-
1980.
yeah, yeah,
Jesus.
14 years in 1994. The team that he put together achieved the highest ranking ever for any Nigerian national team, number 5 in 1993. Um, and also, like I said, his tactical awareness, his awareness of the game, his man management, the way he man players. I remember there was a documentary, about the Super Eagles, and in 1990, just before the World Cup, and the way he was talking to the players, he was talking to Rafai and throwing the ball to him and say, "Do you want to be the best goalkeeper in the world?"
Yeah.
I mean, look at him on the screen with the boys.
Yeah.
We had a player there, Isaac Semitoje. He was
Semitoje.
a home-based player. He made it fanciful to. You were talking about Keshi giving home-based players the opportunity to play for the Super Eagles. Westerhoff actually started that trend. At least post the 1990s. He made it like something that was very fanciful. So based on that, Clemens Westerhoff and JJ Okocha for me. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jide. Kunle, on the last note from your
Um,
side, you choose
well,
Kanu and Stephen Keshi. On the last note.
yes, I do, and yeah, I know it could be contentious and all, but we can't take away what these guys did. I mean, Stephen Keshi is
Mm,
forever in the hearts of Nigerian fans because
Yeah.
this is a man who,
I think they
from
call him
being a
Big
player,
Boss.
yeah,
yes, the
big
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 boss.
boss.
Boss. Yeah.
And let us not forget that Keshi did something huge, and let's not forget that Keshi is also seen as a legend in Africa because let's not forget that he took these people to the World Cup. He was the first, making him the first local coach to carry an African team. I don't think any coach, or was it? Yeah, I think that was record where he took Togo. to the World Cup in 2006.
Yeah, it
That
was
thing
good or
was
something.
huge. Till today, he is eulogized in Togo. Like, he is, in fact, you would
Hmm.
almost, when you go to Togo and you hear, I've been to Togo for a while. When you hear how people speak highly of Stephen Keshi,
Stephen
believe me,
Keshi.
you would think Keshi is a Togolese man. Believe me,
Wow.
because going to that World Cup, yeah,
Babagba.
going to that World Cup was huge for him. So, Stephen Keshi has already put his name in the annals of history, because it's very rare for you to see a player, an
Yeah.
African player, someone who was into management. No, it's very difficult, and I think so. He has already raised that bar, and for
I
what he
think
did,
Stephen
when
Keshi started with this his teammates then. Can you still remember he played with at the back? He paired with someone
Benny
at the back
Roa,
in Super
Benny
Eagles.
Roa,
Is it Ben Niro?
Benny
Okay,
Roa.
Ben Niro. There's someone he paired up with a player. I can't remember his name. I can't remember
I
his
think it's
he paired up
I'm trying
with
to remember who
Stephen
you're
Keshi
talking
with
about.
some. Yeah, there's one guy he always pair with.
Uche Ogechukwu.
Emenelo.
No, no, it's not Uche Okechukwu. No,
Emenelo.
this guy Stephen Keshi has been. He started before this.
Oh yeah, but Stephen Keshi has been playing for the Super Eagles since the 1980s.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, yes, now. Yeah.
yeah.
mm,
He started in
so
1981. Yeah, 1981.
so
He has
yeah.
64 caps, 9 goals. I want to remember the guy he always paired up with. Oh my god.
Are you
I'm
sure it's
trying to
not
find
Benny
it.
Roja?
No, Benny Roy is on the
No,
left.
Benny Rise on the left. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
Benny Roy is on the left and Iguavo on the
On the
right.
right.
He
I think
always
it
paired
was
up with one guy. Oh,
was it
Wait.
Bright Omakaro?
no, Brighton Mokar is also on the left as well before Benny Roa or something.
Mm.
Oh my days. Can't remember. He always
Uh,
that because Big Box is always at the back. He always like is sitting down. I mean, sitting back with the with Peter Rufai. There's this
Mm.
guy always play like a liberal. You
Can
know, he's
you can you remember the year that they
Uche
played?
Okafor.
I think Uche Okafor. It should be Uche Okafor. He always
Which
clean up Uche Okafor's mess.
which year were we talking about here? Was it 1980?
Is 90 yeah in 1980.
Oh, okay. So I would possibly say like in 1984, right?
1984, yes.
Yeah. So it was
1984.
1984 when um Nigeria went to so the squad of 1984 had the likes of Yisa Shofolue, you know.
Yes. Isa
Um,
Shifulue.
we had Sunday Ebogbe, Humphrey
No,
Edebo,
no. Sunday. Yes, that's one I want to. Sunday Boy B.
Eboigbe, yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's the person I want to remember. Sunday
yeah,
Boy
so
B.
Sunday
That
Eboigbe,
guy
yeah.
is also good at the back. You know, it's. I mean, they pair each other very well. The pairing
Very
was
well. So
massive.
mm,
I love. Yeah, Sunday Boy B. Yes.
you know,
Yeah, Sunday Boy
yeah.
B. Do you still remember any Nigerian players then in close to 1989? We have Sunday Boy B.
Paul Kingsley, Mohamed Lawal, Emmanuel Okala, you know.
Manuel Okala.
Yeah, so these are players that have just gone to the they've gone to the how would you call it the abysses of history. People don't
Yes.
talk about them
Do
anymore.
you still remember this guy too? That went for when under 17 started. Um, the first under 17. You know, we won it in Japan or something.
So what position was he
A
playing?
bit- do you remember the captain? He was so popular then. Forgotten his name.
What is it in 1985?
That 85. Yeah, the first eaglet.
Eaglets.
Yeah, You know, we won the
Yeah,
cup,
we won the
the
first under
first
17
major
World Cup.
competition
Then it was called the under
under
16.
17.
Then they were used to call it under 16.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you used to be called under 16 then, and Nigeria was hugely influential at that tournament. We had some good football players. That's where Unduka got
Yeah,
was
Unduka
good.
Ugbade. Yes,
Yeah,
it was a yeah. That's
yeah,
a guy to know.
Unduka
Unduka
Agbade. So
Ugbade.
yeah,
Absolutely, yes.
Unduka Agbade. Fatai
That was when
Atere.
I started watching pure game, as in wow,
Wow,
they
so
came, and all of a sudden, I think it was Fatah Atere.
yeah, Fatai Atere was there as well.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it's just a shame, as that's why I want this channel to, let's talk about our past heroes that already
heroes. Yeah,
passed. Let's bring them to
mm,
limelight. Let's still talk about them. Well,
yeah. Mm.
I think we have to take it, call it a day today. Jide, thank you so much for coming. I know you have another appointment from here straight up to another place right away.
Look,
Thanks for coming.
it's a pleasure being on the show.
Thank you
Like
so
you are
much.
subscribed to the notion as well that we need to treat our we need to keep our history alive because
Yeah,
if we don't, then I don't know who's going to do it for us. So,
you can imagine Nduka Gbade. Oh man.
it
Kule,
brings back memories, doesn't
yeah,
it?
memories.
Yeah.
Nduka Gbade.
Mm.
He lifted the World Cup. I think Ebenezer Obey sang a song about almost every
Yeah.
musicians then. They'll sing
You know.
about them, coming out with an album. Oh my God. Kunle, what's
Yes,
going on?
boss.
I want to
I'm
thank
all
you so
right.
much
I'm all
for
right.
showing up. Thanks for
Oh,
the
thanks so much.
debate. You are good. I mean,
Thanks.
I would have loved the people to talk who won. I mean,
Ah,
who won
it's
the
going to be
debate?
difficult. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. See, this kind of debate is like
Yeah.
a sort of like Messi Ronaldo debate. The truth is, you can't find a winner.
I agree
That's
with
just
you
how it is.
100%. Who is the goat?
But
Who is the GOAT?
yeah, and it is something that will continue. You see, it's just like the same way people ask the question like, who was the greatest like between these two guys, Samuel Eto'o and Didier Drogba. See, we keep talk.
Let me shock you for let me shock you on one
maybe we
thing.
should have
I
that one
met
of these
once
days.
sorry, I met one
Yeah,
Somalian guy yesterday, and the guy
yeah,
subscribed when I talk to
okay.
I mean I spoke with him, talk about my intention. Question. In Nigeria, who is the player you can remember? I mean, you can talk about. Do you know what he says? Okocha. I'm serious.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked, like
Yeah,
No
yeah,
surprises there.
yes. No,
I said,
no,
"Do you know
that's the
Kanu?"
thing.
Because I showed him. I know. I mean, our show that is coming up today. And he said the first person he mentioned was JJ Okocha. He said that guy. In the English. He was. Oh, he said that's the best guy. He likes him. JJ Okocha. He does. I said, "Do you know what about Kanu?" He said,
You know,
"Well, can't really." He said, "Well, I now try to describe him. Try to describe him. He plays for." He said, "Well, he's not into, but JJ Okocha. In fact, he analyzed the way he plays. That they love him. They love." No,
yeah.
come on, come on, come on.
No,
I said,
JJ's.
"Well,
That's the good thing. JJ's profile.
ah,
JJ's
it's a
profile really
brand,
went
but
back
I don't
because
know
that.
how we
Yeah,
can talk. I mean, it's too much. It's too much.
and I'm
JJ,
really
I always
happy
tell
that
people like JJ is a brand, man.
It's a brand.
yeah,
Mm.
and I'm
Ah,
really happy that because of that he is actually being kept relevant today because yes, like you rightly said, he's being in demand even in Nigeria for brands and all who use him. So and I am happy about that because many of these are Nigerian players. Once they retire, they are kind of like fizzled out. Like you mentioned now,
Mhm.
you're talking about many of these players from the 80s. Nobody is talking about them. That's the difference here. You can see like now over there in places like the UK,
yeah.
France, Italy, many of those players from that era, they are
Mm.
still made relevant. Many of them, they are into coaching now. They are into Tree,
But why don't we
and
have
they are
most of our
into
players? They don't coach. They don't go to. Is it?
Well,
I,
that
I
that
expected that
it's one of
Okocha to be.
yeah.
Ah,
Well, at least
if you get to really
Okocha is
try,
already
though.
coaching, but no, Okocha is. That's the thing, and you see, that's part of why I am saying that is why I was looking at like Keshi is really great because like to go into coaching and carry their like you need to be in the or you need
Jide,
to
what do you
be
think I'm
close
drinking?
to the
You're
Super
looking at
Eagles.
me as if I'm shekpaying.
I,
No,
I was just
It's
kind of
juice, oh.
wondering, like,
It sounds juice, oh.
okay, hopefully this is not a drinking party or something. Like, oh, your fans are gonna come in and say, "I hope you were not drunk to say JJ Okocha was better."
Oh, all right, guys. I really enjoyed today, man. So,
yes,
I
boss.
would love to see you again next week, Friday, Jide. I spoke with Okwe too. It's one of those person who will also be joining us soon.
Mm.
So, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. See you next week, Friday. Jide, thank
Yes,
you so
boss.
much.
Look, it's been a pleasure being on the show, and see you next week. All right.
All right, bye bye. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us in today's program. Our debate is all about bringing people that have applied. I mean, they've done so well to our country, Nigeria, in relation to sport. I'm not going to say it's going to be only football alone, but I'll also talk about basketball. Those people doing very well in diaspora. It's a show that we want to project. Look at them, flourish them, praise them. If you look at see Ronaldo, was sometimes he'll tell you he's the best in the world, and it's a brand. What's happening to Africa? We got to do that. We got to talk about them. We got to showcase these people. We got to find, can I use the word fine tune? I mean, cherish them. So this is all about the channel. Please subscribe. You are watching us for the first time, and subscribe, share. We want to reach out as so many people on Instagram. Is a community we have to build together, and make sure everybody is into it. Until same time next week. Monday is our review of the matches played over the weekend. And on Friday next week is going to be another interesting debate. So until same time next week. Thank you guys.